Here's Jack. Here's Jack. Here's Jack. Here's Jack. Here's Jack.
Back from a week vacation off of the show. I know everybody's very depressed all over the world last week, but here we are back again. Good news, and we'll be joined by Patti Galoon Hansen tonight. Unfortunately, well, good for him, but unfortunately for us, AJ has got a basketball commitment tonight, so he is not going to be joining us. We will, however, have an AJ show tomorrow starting at 9 a.m. And also we have a behind-the-scenes incognito producer. I think he was formerly known as Bulldog, but no one's seen him in years, so we don't know if he's still alive. But it's we're here, we're ready. We've got lots to talk about, as usual. I'm good at that. But thanks for joining in. I'd like to start with, a long-time connection that we've had with the show, Mr. Bob's. A couple of things about Mr. Bob's Under the Bridge. Mr. Bob's, if you don't know, it's an outreach for homeless people in Milwaukee. It's based here in Ozaukee County. In Grafton is where they have at the Ozaukee Nonprofit Center. It's where they have their headquarters and where they do all the sorting and the drop-offs. The drop-offs are Monday nights from 4 to 6 p.m. and Thursday nights from 5 to 7 p.m. So this Thursday, you can drop off something at 5 p.m., then head on over to the art museum. We'll get over that. We'll get into that soon enough. And they need all kinds of items for people who are in need, new or gently used. If you can donate cash, please go to MrBobsUnderTheBridge.org. Also at MrBobsUnderTheBridge.org, you will find a list that changes of items. It changes seasonally, which makes sense when you think about it. When they need winter jackets or when they need lighter clothing or summer jackets, that type of thing. So there is a need. It is there. It was started by Bob Burmeister and his wife, Sue. They are still, Mr. Bob is a driving force behind it. Dave and Leslie Filer are the co-presidents of the organization now, completely volunteer, wonderful people. They have a lot of great people. Kimberly Yeager is out there doing good stuff for them on the volunteer side, excuse me. So lots of good people. All we hear about are the shitheads in the world, and there are other people out there like Mr. Bob and company. Right now, they're looking for, if you have any 2-person tents for shelter for people, if they're in good shape, clean, with all their parts included, if you can donate them, please do to Mr. Bob's. Thursday night, again, is the drop-off from 5 to 7 p.m. Also, Mr. Bob's, you can also, if you want to volunteer, there are 2 ways you can volunteer. You can volunteer at the Ozaukee Nonprofit Center, and you can go in and help sort, get the clothes and items ready, hygiene items ready for the Saturday morning outreach, which is usually done, not usually, every Saturday morning from about 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. down at Kosciuszko Park in, I guess I would call it the near south side of Milwaukee. So you can volunteer out here in Grafton on Monday nights, Thursday nights. Help is always needed sorting and taking care of the drop-offs. If you would like to directly interact with the homeless friends and give them the items and hygiene and help with the shower trailer, all kinds of opportunities to do that as well. For Mr. Bob's down on, like I said, the near south side, Kosciuszko Park. It's a very rewarding morning. You're out of there by, I would say 10 o'clock at the latest, probably back in Ozaukee County by 10 a.m. if you drive like I do anyway. But it's really a great cause. We love Mr. Bob. We love Miss Sue. We love so many people who are so involved and help out. They have youth youth people, the youths are sitting on their board as well. They help. It's really a great organization. Um, Also, big news. We've mentioned this before when they announced it. September 14th, 2024, the first ever Mr. Bob's Gala, an evening of kindness, a homeless outreach event embracing compassion and dignity. They will have event details for the event will become known more in the next month or so. But mark it on your calendar right now. It's a Saturday evening. It will be at the Ozaukee um, the nonprofit center. Uh, it'll be a great event, I'm sure. I will be involved with the event. I will be doing the emceeing, and with so many wonderful people there. It is truly a privilege to be able to do it. So, Mr. Bob's Under the Bridge, MrBob'sUnderTheBridge.org is their website. They're on Facebook. They're on Insta. Wherever you're online, you can find them. You can make a difference in people's lives. Excuse me. Next up, Mel's. Mel's Charities is very involved in the Cedarburg Bike. It's a chance to have fun a week from tonight. So, next week. We won't be on next week on a Tuesday night. We'll see if we're going to do a different night, or maybe we'll be off that week. The reason being is the Velo USA Cedar Creek Classic Bike Race. It's going to be in Cedarburg, downtown Cedarburg. Starting at approximately 10 in the morning, they're going to have events and rides and things during the day. The two main events at 4:30 p.m., the women's championship is going to be going on. And then at 7 o'clock will be the men's turn. And the route is right downtown Cedarburg. It goes from Western to Washington Avenue up to, I'm not sure if it's Cleveland or Center, but there's a square, that's a Criterion Racing format. It's the Quick Trips Tour of America's Dairyland. It's the biggest bike racing series in the country. Participating cyclists will join together from 15 different countries and 40 states. It's going to be a 1.1 mile long course. Also, I have to say, this Saturday, they're going to be competing in Grafton at the Giro de Grafton as well. So you can see them. You have two opportunities to see them right here in Ozaukee County. One being in, that's my chef. Hey, Margaret, you want to say hi?
No.
Oh, she just said no.
No.
You can see in Grafton on Saturday morning. If you look up Grafton Giro, GIRO, you can find out details about that. But it's just for cyclists. There's so many cycling nuts here in the area. You go out on the bike paths and stuff, you can see them. It's just great. It's great exercise. But these are pros. They're really good racers. We had the pleasure in our Rotary Club of having a couple of the women racers who are sisters came into our club and talked about it. Talent from all over the world. The Germans won the cycling, the whole tour last year, and they'll be back. They're going to be here staying in this area for 2 weeks. Any Simpsons fans out there? The Germans. Yes, they're coming back. So that'll be so cool. There's a special event during the day going to be called the Piglet Pedal. Kids can ride their bikes on the course and receive a complimentary T-shirt, pig nose, Velo backpack, and ice cream from Cedar Crest. Oh, can't beat that. That'll be from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. The community hours, they think they're going to have about 200 kids participating. And then after that, let's see what else we got. Yeah. Oh, this is how I first got into it. Mel's. Mel's will this classic will support Mel's, and Mel is going to be leading the charge. Mel and his organization, he would want me to say, leading the charge for putting this together with volunteers. So if you would like to volunteer for this, please feel free. It would be wonderful. People love it. They would absolutely love it, darling. Love it. Let me tell you. So there's a couple things going on, but what I'd like to do at this point is bring in Dr. Ben. We had a great, I I see a little squirt closing in on coming on. But we will have Dr. Ben. We have a video of Dr. Ben. He was really interesting about how to lose weight very easily, very inexpensively. Not easily. It's a process, but it can be done. He has some tips for that. We are about to be joined by Patti Hansen. She is our fashionista and jewelryista. She's going to be joining us soon as well. I'm going to start by playing some of this Dr. Ben video, and then we'll come back with Patti. Maybe we'll break Dr. Ben's thing up. It's about a 20-minute clip. It's very interesting. Dr. Ben is the owner of Foreman Fitness in Grafton. He is a physical therapist, licensed physical therapist, but he is a nutrition nut and really does a hell of a job with his research. So he has tried. Are live in the Ben Quist Dome. Right. We're looking live at Ben. How are you, Ben?
I'm good. It's Friday and it's beautiful out, and I'm excited for the weekend.
We got anything big planned for the weekend, Ben?
Nope, nothing big planned. Just some relaxation, some sporting events for the kids. So, but just looking forward to the nice weather.
It's supposed to be nice too. A little bit of rain overnight, but no big deal. Well, cool. All right, you and I, you got me revved up even before we pressed the button. So let's jump in. Where would you like to go today, Dr. Ben?
I've got a couple different topics for today. I wanted to circle back on something that we had talked about with your, for your viewers a couple weeks back on some different types of substances that I've been using with my some of my clients to kind of like amp up their weight loss a little bit, which I think you're trying some of them right now. I'm currently on all three of them. But they're just foods. Like they're nothing like, it's not some weird drug or like
right. When you said substances, I'm glad you clarified because they're all food. Taken right from food. Yeah,
they're foods, and they're taken in what would be considered culinary doses. So they're like normal quantities, is not some bizarrely huge amount of some specific food or something. But so I've had two different clients that have been on these, and one guy's been doing it now for over 8 weeks, and I just did his body fat today, this afternoon, and it is amazing what the transformation that has happened in his over the course of 8 weeks. And so in my field, if somebody can lose weight, meaning losing body fat, at the same time as they can either maintain or gain muscle tissue, we call that the Holy Grail. So that's like you found the Holy Grail, because it is almost impossible to do.
I'd say holy shit.
Yeah, holy shit. What happens normally is someone goes on a diet or they go on Ozempic or something and they get this weight loss, but sometimes even half of the weight you're losing is coming from your muscle tissue. So, you're losing 10 pounds, but you just lost 5 pounds of muscle tissue in addition to 5 pounds of fat tissue. And that's something you want to really, truly try to minimize. So I'm wondering if these things are helping these two individuals who I've been working with, helping them to minimize that and lose just fat, which is unbelievable. So in the three substances, we've talked about this before, it's apple cider vinegar, black cumin, and then barberries, which, you can get these things at grocery stores, you can get them, in Amazon, blah, blah, blah. But, the dosing, I think we talked about that before. The amount that you would utilize.
One question on the dosing. So the black cumin powder, I just did it's a pinch, right? You just use, that's very unscientific, but like you said, it's a cooking term. It's food you're talking about. And someone says a pinch of salt, but it's a pinch of this black, and it's very fine powder. So even with a pinch, you get a bunch in I've noticed that right away. You get it.
Did you grind it up or did you leave it in its little seed form?
I bought it ground up.
Okay, that's good. That's probably better.
Yeah.
It's kind of like actually a teeny little, looks like a little chia seed or something.
Okay.
And I just ground it in my coffee grinder so that I get it more powdery, and I've been using it that way. But yeah, it's just a pinch of that, or if you're really anal, you could say it's 1/12 of a teaspoon or whatever. I think a small amount. If you need to measure, you could put a measurement on that.
Right.
And for the majority of my clients, they've been doing then a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in their morning, health shake, and then roughly a tablespoon or so of those barberries as well. So his result from today, he has now lost. They went from 5 pounds at the first week measurement where he basically lost a teeny bit of muscle tissue and 4 pounds of fat. This next one, he had gained the muscle back. He had gained a third a pound of muscle, and he had lost 11 pounds of body fat.
What?
Yes, in 8 weeks, and it's very visually apparent. And this guy is 61 years old. It's not like he's like, 22 years old. So he's and he's obviously been doing some really thoughtful strength training. He's obviously been doing some really great cardio work. He's worked on his diet a little bit, but I'm pretty sure that those substances have been protective of his muscle tissue and kind of skewed it more towards fat loss. So I just was really excited to see him have a massive success like that. So
Ben, when you've talked about people losing weight too fast, that it's not sustainable or good for you.
Yep.
Is 11 pounds in 8 weeks? Is that right? 8 weeks? Is that the zone? Is that the okay zone? I mean, you know what I mean? Is that?
It just depends on the person's gender, how big they are to start. This individual was well over 200 pounds. So he's a 230 pound individual. They have a lot more. It's kind of like percentage based. Like he has a lot more mass to lose than if you're talking about a 120 pound woman.
Sure.
There's not going to be as much to lose. So some of that is very individualized to the person. But for a rule of thumb, if you're losing much more than a pound a week, you're probably losing a significant amount of other tissues and fluids and things of that nature. So I usually don't like to see people lose much more than 4 to 5 pounds a month.
Is that a tough sell? It sounds like people want to lose once they decide they're going to do this. They want to, they just want to see it all come off. How do you overcome that?
Here, let me see if I have my model here. Oh, I don't. Okay. So first of all, I show them what 5 pounds of fat looks like. So everybody,
seen it.
You've seen it. It's gigantic. Like 5 pounds of body fat is like it's a substantial amount of mass. And once they see that, they're like, oh, I get it. I get why I couldn't lose 20 pounds of that in 1 month. Because, it's physiologically impossible. 5 pounds of fat is a much bigger weight loss than most people assume. So this individual that's lost the 11 pounds, that is probably about the size of a basketball of fat that he's lost in 8 weeks.
Oh, my God.
That's pretty substantial. I think
holy shit. Yeah.
Be pleased with that, So I have that discussion with them first, and then they kind of buy in. And then we talk about like when people have these weight losses where they're losing this, I lost 20 pounds in 1 month. And this, it's usually water weight, stored sugars are depleted, muscle tissue is put down. And then there's typically some body fat loss with that as well. But it's a mixture of all kinds of stuff where we're looking to just lose the body fat if we can.
Yes. All right. So Ben, will this individual or me or you or anyone in perpetuity, you do it for the rest of your life, right? If you want to keep doing this, or how does that work? What do you recommend for that?
Meaning like
the 3 things.
I plan to just cycle them a little bit, just because I'm not a fan of eating the same stuff, all the time, So, I'm going to probably, like with these 2 individuals, have them do it for 3 months and then take a break,
Okay.
And I actually think he's going to hit his weight loss goal in the 3 months, so, when he gets that 20 pound, goal hit, then we'll maybe just kind of plateau it at that point and kind of see what happens when he stops taking those, but it's just interesting because there's just a lot of research revolving around those, and it's interesting to see it like happening with real people. So
what does he say? What does your client say? Can he tell that he's lost that weight?
He's ecstatic. Because it is like you could not, like when you, like even today when he came in for his workout, I'm like, wow. It's like, and I think most of us, I'm over 50 now, and it's like kind of like, well, can you still make substantial changes in your, he obviously has gained muscle and he has lost a substantial amount of body fat in 8 weeks, and that's supposed to be a lot harder to do in your 60s, right? But
right, everything slows down, right? And that's why I
guess it doesn't seem to be happening to him. So,
well, good for him. That's great. Yeah. That's great news. It's a leap to jumping in, but it's not. I talked to 2 other people. One's a gym member at a lunch meeting yesterday, and another one is not. And I shared your email with both of them and told them about it. And they was like, "Oh, I think for me, the barberries are easy. They're like, oh yeah, I like them.
You could sprinkle those on like your morning yogurt or put it in your granola mix. Yeah, it's basically like saying you're eating a cranberry, right? I mean, it's not
Right. The one that I'm the other one I got him at the gym. I got the apple
Did you get
cider vinegar. Those are easy. The
Yep.
black cumin powder, it's not heavy. It's just finding the right thing to mix that in. That has a little bit more taste, because I found, like, the other day I put it in some yogurt and I thought, I'm tasting this all the way through. I got to figure out the mix, And you said, it's not like, it looks like pepper and it doesn't taste like that. It, like you said, it almost has a black licorice taste to it a little bit.
That's how I feel too.
So, yeah.
I that's where I think, and remember, you don't have to do all three of them. You can do, like, a lot of people apple cider vinegar is something for decades. People have been using that as a weight loss substance. So you could do just that, or you could do, it's just been something I'm playing around with lately. If all three of these different ingredients work on the same pathway to increase fat loss, what would happen if you combine them? Okay. So,
all right. Now you had just said that it's like a 3-month cycle would make sense. How often should a person weigh themselves in that 3-month cycle? Once a week, every day? What do you recommend for that benefit?
I mean, everybody's different, but I usually let the client decide on that. I normally body fat people once a month, because I just feel like if you do it weekly, the machines aren't that sensitive. Like, where sometimes they'll have like an increase in body fat. Like, it usually trends out over time if they're doing the right stuff. So, so for body fatting, I typically do once a month, but with weight, maybe once a week. Or if you're somebody that always gets on the scale every morning, I have no problem with someone wants to do it every day. So I don't have any firm recommendations on that. I usually kind of leave it up to the individual.
Okay. Yeah, the once a week, once a day it varies wildly. It's like, oh, it's up, or oh, it's a down, or so it depends on the day. It seems like quite a bit, but then over time you see a pattern.
So if you are doing those, if you're doing those for a bit here, those three things, let me know how you do on it. Like, if you notice any, like, your belt fitting a little looser or whatever,
Well, we both are here. I'll let you know. We started. I got the gummies on Saturday, and I got the other stuff. So Sunday was probably our first day, and it was like a holiday weekend. So it was like kind of a strange week, kind of like this. So, but this will be the first real week. And we decided just randomly, we're going to weigh in on Sundays and Thursdays, split the week in half and see how it goes. So
you can always do, Jack, too, that body fat machine we have at the club. So you can always, have you used that before ever?
No. Mm-mm.
If you ever want me to show you that, let me know. It's super easy to use.
Definitely. Is that something that members can use? I mean, what do you have to do to use that? How if someone wants to take you up on this, Ben, how do they do that?
So anybody who is a personal training member at Form and Fitness has free access to the machine.
Okay.
If somebody wants to use it as a general member, they have to pay for one kind of intro session to kind of like know how to use the machine. But then we've been pretty loose with it, where anybody can just use it.
Okay.
We're actually even thinking of putting it in the hallway.
Nice. Well, that's cool.
Versus in that office, but so cool. I'm glad.
Exciting stuff.
You're trying it out.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you remember what our topic was supposed to be today. Do you remember that from last week? You said you were excited, but obviously you weren't, because you don't even remember what it was.
Well, you came in like a little kid, like the client. So no, I don't remember. Do you? I do. I have a couple.
You're like, oh, that's a great topic. I can't wait to talk about that next week. So the topic was, should women strength train differently?
Yes.
So, and that's an interesting topic. I'm trying to see if I have the book. There was I don't have any of my props today.
There, in the you read old stuff, like when Arnold was just getting into it, or there was a guy named Don Wildman who started the I can't remember what health clubs he started, but when he was saying when he started, he recently passed away. He was like 80 or 90. No, his name was Don Wildman.
Okay.
Yeah, and he said that one of the big things was women feared that if they worked out, this is back in the early 60s, the prevalent thought was that they were going to get large muscles and look unattractive with large muscles, bulk up or large muscles. And men were afraid of like enlargement of the heart or some crazy thing like that. So I know you learn and things change. When you talk to women about strength training and weight training, what kind of objections do you hear from them? They don't want to do it because, or do they don't know about it?
I feel like they have, it's really changed, like what you said. Like, so you're right. Like back when I started as a personal trainer, many people believe that children should never strength train. That's been completely disproven. Back when I first started, 20 or 30 years ago, individuals, women would sometimes say that exact same thing. I don't want to bulk up too much or be too bulky. I don't hear that at all anymore. No one ever says that. And I think there's just been a little bit of a change in the thought process as far as, people's feelings on strength training. And there's been a lot of different authors that have written books on it. One that has come out recently is Celine Yeager's book called Next Level. So it's I read it on a car ride. I wasn't driving. I was in the passenger seat. I cruised the whole book because, I kind of, she contends that women should strength train differently than men, but I don't really think that's what she meant in the book. Like when you read through it, it's like, it's the exact same stuff everybody should be doing, which, so I do think there are some reasons why it's actually more important for women to strength train than it is for men. So one of those being osteoporosis. So, I have a fair amount of customers that come in where they're experiencing osteopenia or osteoporosis. And obviously that is much more prevalent with women. So one of the best possible things you can do for that is to do some load bearing resistance training, so I do feel like it is almost like more important, just like I feel like it's more important for people over the age of 60 to strength train than people under the age of 60. That's where it becomes really, really important because you're losing muscle tissue, like we talked about in previous episodes of this. You're losing muscle tissue every single year if you aren't doing that. And even if you are doing it at a high level, you're just slowing it. Like you stop it completely, but we might as well try to push it off by 15 years, right? Rather than being completely weak and frail in your late 50s or early 60s, which I've seen that, in people would come in where it's like, wow, you look like you're moving like a 90-year-old and you're 55. So, and I've seen it the exact opposite. I had a guy come in the other day who was 73, and man, I was like, God, what are you doing? Like, I need to write this down. Like, he was like in such good shape and he has such good muscle tone for somebody, he was the exact opposite of frail in his early 70s. So anyways, I think there are some reasons why it is maybe even more important for women to strength train. The concept in that book that I just held up is that women should be strength training heavy. So she called it lift heavy SHIT. So like that was her that was her main premise, and that's that's the same concept for everybody. Like everybody should be lifting sometimes some things heavy, right? Like so in the world of strength training, from what I have seen, like the biggest mistake most gym members make or individuals make is that they do not put the appropriate amount of intensity into the movement that they're doing to stimulate the growth response, meaning that the muscle gets stronger or that muscle tissue is built. So
what's tensity then?
So intensity would be taking your, so let's say you're going to do a set of 10 repetitions of a squatting type movement. It's that by the 10th rep, you should be 100% unable to do another rep. So your intensity means you're just making the exercise really difficult. So, I see a lot of people looking like they're going kind of through the motions, like they don't appear to be particularly fatigued when they're at the end of a set. They pop right back up and walk around and, so they are not taking the intensity to the right level to stimulate the response. And that's a big mistake.
Ben, when people do that, I think, well, this is the way I think anyway. I'm thinking, God, if I'm doing 3 sets, I got to say, if you go all out, you should go all out every time, right? And like the first set, you go all out. You don't wait and hold something back, because if you rest for 30 seconds or a minute or what have you, you'll be built back up enough to do the next set at high intensity. Yes.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. No, I mean, I actually I'm going to go strength train right after this with one of my friends, and he had asked me like, why am I not getting any results with strength training? And I'm like, well, Tom, it's because you never push yourself hard. You do these workouts that are like an hour and a half long in the gym. No one can work out hard for an hour and a half. Like, let's work out every Friday together for 45 minutes, and I'm going to kick your ass. and I'm going to show you what it means to go to failure safely, right? As both of us are, in our 50s, like safely, so that you don't hurt yourself. And that's the only thing where it gets a little bit wonky, where it's like when you lift heavier and you lift more intensity, the percentage chance of getting an injury goes up. So that's where you just have to be very smart with the exercises that you pick and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that. I got to do heavy. Two things. I'm guilty of that sometimes, and then when I push myself, I feel so much happier with the weights. The other thing I would say to women who are either avoiding, don't want to lift weights in the gym because they feel funny about women or whatever. I don't know how much that is anymore. I go to those morning workout classes, and far and away, there's a majority of women in those classes. So there's no need to be. You're not going to be the only woman totally. Sometimes I'm the only guy in there. For God's sake, it's just the opposite. Out of 20. So
and they're all stronger than you too. I've noticed.
They are, and Margot lets me know about it. My daughter, she's good at that. But boy, no, that's what I really love to see. Is there's just so much engagement from women involved in it, and just it's a really great atmosphere to learn that in.
And I agree, and I do feel like the younger group of men and women are taking strength training a lot more seriously and doing it better than we did in our era when people were coming through. Usually, it's the people over the age of 50 that I have to convince to work a little bit harder and select some different movement patterns that are safe for them to push on with some actual weight. Because if you don't have enough weight, you're not going to get the response that you need.
Right. So you're hitting it from both ends. You're picking up some great tips from Ben on diet and things you can add to your diet to lose fat, not muscle, and then some great workout tips. Arnold, I know I talk about Arnold a lot, but he says, failure is like the ultimate compliment in the gym. If you push yourself to failure, it's just the opposite of what people think of failure in real life. It's like, that's where you want to be. That's how you know.
Yeah, it is. And that is one of the most important. It's built right into how you think about progressive resistance training. It's one of the main principles is intensity. So yeah, and the other one would be the other thing I see people making mistakes on is they don't vary the routine enough. So variability, having a unique stimulus to the body. So doing the same exercises year in and year out over the course of a decade, you're not going to get as good of a result as if you had some variation in your programming.
Muscle confusion, right?
Yep, you do. Yep. It definitely is a thing. The body responds to novel stimuluses. So yeah, 100%.
Very cool. All right. Now I got something for next week, but I'm going to bring up this week. Let's see if next week I can remember it. But I wanted to ask you about intermittent fasting, where you are on that. If you're a believer, if you're a non-believer, or where you are. I know it's probably a whole nother subject, and I'm bringing it up too late in the discussion. But
I'll just give you a quick summary. Then I got to go.
Okay.
But, so there's been a lot of research coming out that it's not good. Which I think you probably are bringing that up because you've read some of that.
I've heard so much of both ways.
So what my best thoughts are on that is if you are going to do time restricted eating, meaning that you're going to start to shorten the window of when you're going to eat food in a day, do not shorten the morning window. So you don't want to skip breakfast and be like, I eat my first meal at 12 and then I eat my last meal 2 hours before I go to sleep at night at 8 p.m. So that seems to be where some of that
not good
stuff like the increased heart disease and different things that they're like,
yeah.
I thought I was doing this to help myself, but
right.
But where it makes a lot of sense to me is if you're taking your window and you're crunching it down from the top end, meaning that your pattern you used to do was that you ate at, dinner at 6 o'clock and then you had another snack at 8 p.m. and then you went to bed, at 10 p.m. To get rid of the snack and have 6 p.m. be the end window of your day. So your time restriction is still within a 12-hour window or a 10-hour window, but you're chopping it off at the top end. And having a longer period of time before you go to sleep with no food. I've seen nothing to say that isn't the right approach to go. But yeah, there's a gazillion different ways to fast.
Yeah.
Time restricted eating is one of the big ones. And I didn't know if you were referring, intermittent fasting is a huge different category. There's alternate day. There's all kinds
I was thinking of what you were thinking. The time window. Yeah.
That's the big one right now. And I think, what I was doing, and I've switched up from I'm not doing that anymore, is I was eating later into the morning. I am now back to eating a big breakfast, and I'm just doing my darndest to try not to eat after dinner. Like when I eat my dinner at 5:30 or 6, like the gate comes down on the kitchen, and that's where most people's problems come in anyways, is that after hours time frame. Most of the people I've worked with are like, well, I'm watching TV and I want to snack on something and it has to be crunchy.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. I got you. All right. Well, we squished, we crunched the time, a lot of info, a lot of fun stuff in a small window today.
We definitely had a lot of different material today. I'll have to decide what to do next week. I've got so many different ideas rambling around in my head for my topic for next week, but I'll surprise you.
Okay. And I know you're ignoring the emails I send you, but if I see some during the week, I'm like, oh, this is perfect for Ben. So I send them.
Some of them are the diet score one. You had one about score.
Yes.
Diet. That's an interesting one.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
You say every once in a while.
Yeah. Every once in a while I score. So thanks, Ben. I'll take that as a compliment. It'll get me through the weekend.
Yes, I'll get you through one. Have a wonderful weekend.
We'll do.
We'll see you next week.
Great. All right. Thanks a lot, Ben.
Bye-bye.
See you. Have a great workout.
I can hear you.
Now?
No, yeah.
I said, how weird was that? Jack Henke in stereo. Were you digging it? You're like, wow, I'm even wearing the same shirt.
I know. I was very confused. I was like, is he calling me?
Yeah. Why are you calling me? I wanted to get your attention. It was short note by you, Patti. I have to say, I wish we had StreamYard for all of our communications, because you have never written such short messages in your entire life. What kind of berries? Why are you calling me? I mean, that's it. There's not paragraphs. That's it. Woo!
I'm practicing.
Oh, yeah. What'd you think of Dr. Ben?
Yeah, it was very interesting information. But what I have to know, what is a barberry?
I didn't know. I never heard of it. We got some off Amazon. It's like little. They're a lot like cranberries, but they're a lot smaller. They're just these little berries. They're dried when you get them, and they tell you, like Ben said, he mixes them in his yogurt. I just take a couple spoonfuls, like boom, boom, and they're tart, but it's not the one that's well, two things: the apple cider vinegar. I've been doing that, but I've been doing that with the apple cider vinegar. You have to use the straw so you get past your teeth, and because it's not good for your teeth and blah blah blah. But he recommended these gummies that they have now that aren't so awful, because apple cider vinegar is god awful. I don't know if you ever had tasted it.
I use Kirkland over at Costco.
Mm-hmm.
I have some gummies that are apple cider vinegar, and they're really quite good.
Okay. Yeah, so he had some at the gym. I got those, and then the other one is black cumin powder, which I'd never heard of before. I've heard of cumin for other stuff, but it's you just put a sprinkle on, 1 pinch a day of, not pinching Mr. Wonderful, a pinch of black cumin powder a day, and I put it in. I found the right stuff. I put enough stuff in my yogurt so that I don't taste it. It's not a heavy taste, but it has a little taste. It doesn't, it's not like cumin where you think, oh, it's spicy. What are you doing with that?
Right.
It's really mild. It is a very faint black licorice type of taste, but it's very faint. And I put it in with fruit and yogurt, or I put it in with cottage cheese and fruit, and I don't taste it.
Oh. So maybe I could put it in my smoothie in the morning?
You could. That's what Ben puts a lot of crap in his smoothies.
Where did you get your black cumin from?
Amazon.
Amazon?
Yeah.
Is there a special brand name for
I will, you know what? I asked Ben that, and he sent it to me, and I had already gotten some before he sent it to me, but let me hang on.
And the barberries too.
I don't have a brand of barberries. I can send you a picture of the one we have.
Okay.
Later, but I can't right now. Oh.
That's all right.
Hang on, I'm gonna see.
And another question I had was,
Mm-hmm.
He was saying that you had to lift heavy. Well, and I like lifting heavy. But then I hear some people are saying you don't have to lift heavy, just do more reps.
Well, I think that's what the new things come around, like he said, you hear different things. But he said the important thing was intensity, muscle intensity. So I think you can do that a couple of ways. I think you can do it with a lot of reps, or I think you can do it lifting heavy. I think you can probably do it either way. I find though, don't you find when you do a lot of reps that it's a different kind of tired from doing a heavy thing? So
Yeah.
I guess I would say, Patty, like he said, mix them up.
Yeah.
Sometimes do a lot of reps, sometimes do heavy. I'm going to send this to you. It's organic black cumin seed. Yeah. You'll get it.
Are you putting it on the chat here or on my cell phone?
I'm sending it to you. He sent it to me on.
Perfect. I see it come through now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So I did that. I've been doing those episodes with Ben on Friday, and then we're going to work him back in the show because he's a funny. He's inadvertently funny. He's not trying to be funny all the time. He's such a straight laced guy that I usually get a couple of good shots in at him. But he's really good, and he says it. He speaks in a way, he doesn't. Sometimes those trainers can kind of like do it this way, or
right.
He's a doctor of physical therapy. He's not a dietetic. He's not a dietitian or anything. It's a passion of his that he reads on, and he has talks during the year sometimes when he's doing it. You remember the thing about the heart? We had him on once, and you did it and freaked out.
Totally freaked out. Yeah.
Yeah. But he has all different kinds of things. He's a very interesting guy. He reads, like he said, I just read this on a car ride, and I believe he did because he's an intense reader. He's one of those and I don't think he reads any fiction. I think he reads all kinds of research.
All that kind
of
stuff.
It's what he loves. So more power to him.
Yeah, no kidding. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I put myself on a diet too. I'm trying to lose, I don't know. I'd like to lose 15 pounds.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I kind of like that starving child look.
Oh. Patty.
Oh,
whatever makes you happy. Whatever makes you and Mr. Wonderful happy.
Yeah,
for each other.
Yeah, he had me out using my baby chainsaw this last weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Functional workout. Get out here. I need help. Right?
I love my baby chainsaw.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, God. Oh, man. Well, I know you have all kinds of interesting things to talk about, but I have to talk about something that you and I both have an interest in, that our mutual friend, Gail O. Osterman, asked us to talk about, and that is the Rotary Music Festival coming up on July 3rd. We're both in the Rotary Club. The money we raise goes to fund technical scholarships. Far and away is our number one thing that we do, which is we were ahead of the curve on that.
Yeah, no kidding.
With tech schools, we as a club we sponsor other local worthwhile things during the year, but we really try and make a dent and make a worthy amount of scholarships for these tech schools. And this last year, they just awarded them a couple weeks ago. 6 students, I believe, got tech scholarships for next year. So the Rotary Music Festival, the 24th annual, is Wednesday, July 3rd. It's always on July 3rd at night. And then the next day, at least one of the bands, sometimes a couple of the bands who participate, or I don't know if they call themselves bands, they call them corps, right? Drum and bugle corps. Participate in the Cedarburg Parade, which you ever been to the Cedarburg 4th of July Parade, Patty? I don't know if you're
in it.
Yeah. No, have you ever been to it? I don't know if you've ever seen it before.
Once in a while, yeah.
But that's quite a show, and it's up at the Cedarburg High School athletic field. So it's whole lot of if you're into drum and bugle corps stuff, and a lot of people are, and it is super tough to do. And boy, you have to be in great shape. Speaking of being in shape, those people are in shape who do that.
Especially in the hot sun when they're wearing those uniforms. Oh my God.
Oh my God, is right. You bet. So this the Drum and Bugle Corps, the Blue Stars, Cavaliers, Colts, Colt Cadets, and of course the world famous Madison Scouts will be joining in as well.
And they will also be in the park. They'll be in the parade and then in the park afterwards too.
Oh, really? Drinking beer at the Cedarburg Lions tent?
What?
Doing beer bongs from the Cedarburg Lions
Yeah,
tent?
right. No.
No. Well, let's pour a beer in the tuba, man. Let's see if you can take it. But there are 3 levels of tickets: $25 reserve, $35 premium, and $45 super premiums. But again, all of the money, not some of the money, all of the money goes to technical scholarships for students from the area. So really a great thing going on. You got anything to add to that, sister?
Well, I think the biggest thing that I would add would be that, and this all, long time ago, we had the music festival parade that was started by Billy Lobo, one of the music teachers there in Cedarburg, and then it kind of went by the wayside, and Leighton Olson picked it up, ran with it, and made it what it is today, and that's pretty damn amazing. So,
It's by far our biggest fundraiser for the year.
Yep.
And again, all the money goes to local kids going to
tech schools.
tech schools. Thank you.
Which could be a goldsmith. You never know.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining me tonight, Patti. Now that I asked you to join me and I put you off, we're doing this, we're doing that. Now that you're on, we're going to talk about the Rotary. What would you like to talk about?
I don't know, whatever you want to talk about.
Well, I do have some news about a mutual friend of ours.
That's what I thought you were going to talk about first before you said Gail. I thought you're talking about Yakov, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
This is good news. It was in the paper today, in the local paper. Lisa Curtis, the managing editor. Miss Molly is opening a cafe.
I saw that.
The Red Apron Cafe, it's going to be called. They're going to be doing breakfast and lunch, dine in or carry out or takeaway. You can call it, I guess.
I'm so happy for Molly. I really am. That is just so wonderful. She is such a great person. She works so hard. She's a single mom. I don't know how she does it. I'm just so happy for her. I think that's
she's an ass ass kicker. Not an ass kisser. No. She's nice to her customers. She's not an ass kisser. She's an ass kicker. Sorry, Molly. The town even kind of changed the zoning so that they could have a cafe and a restaurant. I mean,
right.
Usually it's like moving heaven and earth to get that shit done. And Miss Molly she can do anything.
Exactly.
They also announced that Jackie, I don't know her last name, from Out and Out. She was the head of their catering for many years.
Yeah.
She's a wonderful woman, be a great addition to Miss Molly's team. She's joining Miss Molly over at Miss Molly's. Just fantastic.
I believe she's going to head up their corporate catering.
Yes. Yeah. She was great. We had a thing for my mom last year for her 90th birthday, and Jackie really helped us tremendously through the whole thing. Then, it's not one of those people, hey, do the, she kind of said, well, this is, you might not want the, very, very, very helpful and nice. Right. So it was great.
Yeah.
So that's the news I was talking about, not Yakov with his.
Well, I thought you were going to talk about Yakov when you said our mutual friend.
We can.
Okay. Well, I would hope badly for Yakov. I didn't realize what was going on until I think I saw your second or third email. Sorry. Just like.
Well, yeah, a friend of ours, Yakov Almore, who has actually been on this year's show, right? Didn't we have him on?
Yes, we did.
From Israel.
For
God's sakes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's where he is. He's still involved with IDMA. That's an International Diamond Marketing Association, Mining
Diamond Manufacturers Association.
A good friend of ours who was just a character. One of the many amazing characters we've met on this Facets journey. Yeah. And he is something else. He has gotten prostate cancer, and he's going to be going through some treatment. they're very hopeful. They think they got it at a good spot, but he said, it still sucks.
Right.
So, in this thing, which of course it does. But I think he's got a good attitude, and it sounds like he thinks he's gonna do well with it. And that mental space between your ears is a huge part of
Huge.
anything you do and coming
Yeah.
back from stuff. So he rarely, nobody is happy all the time, but I've rarely not seen him upbeat, I guess is what I would say.
Yeah, he is up. I've seen him be cynical, but he's still kind of upbeat when he's cynical. It's like
That's a trick.
he laughs at the absurdity of it, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. He doesn't get yeah. And he's just got, there's just enough of he speaks English, but there's just enough non-crossover that makes it even more entertaining for both Yakov and Patti and me. So we wish him well.
Yeah.
And he's done. So he's starting that, which is.
And I saw your picture that you sent me of Terry Chandler. That was the first I've seen Terry in, God, I don't know how many, maybe 2 years.
And please tell the audience who Terry Chandler is again, because he also is on the show.
Right. He's the president of the
DCA.
Diamond Council of America. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's still in Nashville, yes? And we saw a picture of him at the
he was at the Las Vegas show recently.
Yeah, JCK show. How do you like that? I'm whipping out all these jewelry initials. JCK, DMA, blah blah blah. Hey. But he was another character, always with a bow tie.
I haven't seen him on LinkedIn for a while, so that's why I was so happy to see the picture that you sent.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I just happened to come across. I don't know how I did, but I said, I got to get this.
I want to call him and talk to him about our Facets program and see what we can get from him to punch up our Facets program.
I would think that would be right in his wheelhouse with the students. The DCA is all about education, and boy, I'm sure he knows about the need for goldsmiths and people in that industry. So he'd be right in on that.
Well, especially since he and his group tried it, and I think, did he say Bonaparte? What? You're real good with the acronyms. What are?
He's with the New York JA.
There you go. I think Bonaparte and him did a Facets design competition like we're doing, but not with high school kids, with some other people, and I guess it didn't go well. So
of course not. We weren't involved.
Right.
Through him.
First of all, you didn't have the right name. Second of all, you didn't have the right people.
Yeah.
So.
Bonaparte was not impressive to me.
No, he was not, was he? Oh well, there you go.
That's right. Can't win them all.
You can't. No, you can't. Yeah. So, okay, I better shut my mouth. Okay. So, hey, did you happen to see? I copied it onto my Facebook page. A friend of mine, Pat Miller, did an interview with Steve Jobs on Monday.
Did an interview with who?
Steve Jobs.
No.
Yeah. All right. So you know how much I love AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I guess maybe the reason I love AI is because it talks as long as I do.
No. The AI, you should call it Pat GPT instead of Chat GPT, because they ain't going to keep up with you.
Well, I'll tell you what, ChatGPT does a damn good job of keeping up with me. But anyway, they have now, you can ask it to, like, if you wanted to give an interview of somebody who's dead, or, past or present, to give an interview, you can ask it questions and it will respond to you in, it's supposed to respond to you in that person's voice. It didn't this time, but it will respond to you the way AI says Steve Jobs would have responded.
There you go.
So it was really kind of cool because Pat was asking it all these different questions about small business and what small business owners should do and where they should put their emphasis and things like that. and Steve Jobs then would come back and answer the question, and I'm like, damn, this AI is so cool.
It's cool. It's so cool. It's scary.
Yeah, so I thought to myself, Jack, this opens up a whole world for you. You could like interview like who's this dead singer from the Doors?
Jim Morrison.
Yeah, Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin. Oh wow, that would have been a cool interview.
Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be. I would not be interested in them when I could be talking to you. There's no way that I would ever give this up.
Well, if you ever run into trouble, it could be a good interview. But you are, what were we talking about? Kiss ass?
Yeah. An ass kisser, not an ass kicker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, so that was kind of interesting. I saw that. Oh, matter of fact, so here's what I did. I went to ChatGPT and I said, if you were me and
did it immediately start typing? If you were me, okay, next question.
And it's still going. Yeah. If you were me and you just wanted to play around in the stock market with $200 and your risk level is high, what would you put it towards? So it gave me this whole list of stocks. It told me that, if you got $200, you're just playing around, your risk level is high, put your $200 in these stocks. Well, the one I picked was NVIDIA, which is another AI company.
Of course.
I have doubled my money, by God.
You got $400?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever had the pleasure of meeting? I guess he's somewhat loyal viewer, Russ Meyer. He is a character and a half. He just said, he said, I tune in for real intelligence. And I think he's got the wrong channel. You'll meet him someday. He's hilarious.
Yeah, so I thought, well, that was a good use of AI. So, all right, that takes care of that. We still got some pendants left for the Love Has Many. Oh, I'm sorry. What?
Go ahead. You go ahead. I have a fashion question for you, but it'll wait till after you're done with this. Go ahead.
To say we still have some pendants left for the Love Has Many Facets competition.
Okay, how many and how much are they?
They're $200 each for each necklace, and we've got.
You have to tell me. I mean, but you will run out. That you're telling people to.
Oh yeah, well, we'll run out. I can have some recast, but then it'll take a couple of weeks to do it. So these are ready to go. So, and one of them has a 10-point laboratory grown diamond in it. And the other has a 5-point. The reason that it has a 5-point is because the 5-pointer is the eye of the phoenix, which the girl has the awareness ribbon in the stomach of the phoenix.
Huh?
And so, and it's a very heavy, and with sterling silver at over $31 an ounce, people, $200 is really cheap. So
it's not really cheap. It's a value. It's a hell of a
value. Yes, it is.
While you're doing that, Russ said, "Where is AJ? AJ is at a basketball tournament here tonight. He's a man of many things. He's got many things going on. He'll be on at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. But Russ Meyer, Patti, and I, Dr. Ben, whom you know, was on earlier, right, Patti? He did a hell of a job. So I'm kind of Russ is interrupting us, but I thought I should address him.
So Russ is on, and he's asking where AJ is.
Yeah, well, he's doing the comments. Yeah, pay attention to what we're talking about. Keep up. Let's go, people. Hello.
Thanks, Russ.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
No, the fastest thing is great. What you've done with it and where you've taken it is great. Where are you taking it next year, Patti, for the school year?
Well, we're going to stay with Cedarburg. I'm planning on talking to the Grafton art. I was going to talk to the Grafton art department teacher before school let out this year, but time just got away from me and I just couldn't get to it. I didn't have enough hours in the day. but I think what I would do is when we go to Grafton, we're going to make it just a little bit different, so the two cities aren't competing, and
Yeah.
um,
Well, it's good to keep tweaking the program and keep improving
right.
it as you go through. Yeah.
And Deb Mortal took a class, jewelry making class here just a couple of weeks ago, and from an organization down in Milwaukee, which she said was absolutely fabulous. So I think we're going to be talking tomorrow. I think we're going to have some new things on the horizon with that. So
Good. And Deb Mortal is the lead art instructor at Cedarbrook High School.
correct. Yeah, correct.
And one of the keys about this whole program is getting high school kids, giving them an opportunity to design and have an opportunity to see them bring their creations to reality.
Right. And to have the public respond by purchasing their designs and showing their support, not only for the student that designed it, but 50% of the profit from each and every sale, not cumulative, each and every sale goes back to the Cedarbrook High School art department. So that's
Very cool.
pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Art departments need a shot in the arm.
So that's kind of exciting. We got some things that are kind of in the works there. And then some other things that I'm working on too, Jack. I need to kind of get with. Did I call you and tell you?
Yes, we went through it. Wonderful. Go ahead.
All right, then I don't have to. Okay.
We didn't talk, but I trust you.
Oh. Okay.
Go ahead.
Did I tell you about my trip to Brimfield?
Yes.
Oh,
that we talked about.
Okay.
And I'd never heard of it. It's in Massachusetts.
Yes,
right?
It was
crazy. And there's 3 of them in the year, and you're going to go back to the September one, you said, right?
No, I'm going to go back next year in May.
In May. Okay. Yeah. And Mr. Wonderful even went with you.
He
and
did.
Mr. Wonderful's daughter and your daughter. Yeah. So
yep.
Yeah.
He even liked it. He enjoyed himself.
Oh my God.
I know, right?
I get the mere thought of it. The mere thought of that much shopping and doing, it gives me the hives. I mean, I could just.
I know. I said, now, aren't you glad you came along? And he's like, which is never a good response.
Never yes, never no.
What he said about my nails,
He nodded. That's good.
So, okay. The other thing is hair jewelry. We talked about hair jewelry once upon a time. Yeah,
never.
Yeah,
jewelry made out of hair or jewelry for your hair?
No, jewelry made out of hair.
No, we have never talked about this.
Yeah, we did a long time ago.
No, I would remember. I think I would remember hair jewelry. Excuse me.
Well, hair jewelry was really popular. See, Queen Elizabeth made hair jewelry.
Really?
This is a guided body scan.
Hi, Blackie.
It's Blackie. Blackie's the other troublemaker just entered the house.
Hi, Marco.
The twin pups are together again.
Okay. Yeah. So Queen Elizabeth, of course, was married to Albert.
Yep, Prince Albert. Got Prince Albert in a can.
Yep, and Albert, right? And then, and Albert was the true love of her life. I mean, it
was an arranged marriage. It was a typical arranged royal marriage, but they really got it on. Yeah.
They had I guess they had a shit ton of children too. And the funny thing about it was because she really enjoyed sex. And the funny thing about it was that so they had a lot of kids, but she wasn't really crazy about kids. So.
Well, it's nice that she's a queen. You can have it. Oh, here's another one.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah. So anyway, back in 18 years.
Yeah. Right. So when Albert died, it was
Albert worked himself to death.
Well, if Queen Victoria was that into it,
well, yeah. That too. Every turn, you're not getting any rest in bed.
No.
Worst ways to go, I guess.
Yeah, lay down. Okay. So when King Albert, yeah, it was the king. He was king when Albert died. Prince. Yes. She, of course, went into mourning for the rest of her life. I mean, everything was black. Jewelry was black. Black onyx, jet. Everything was black. Black enamel and on gold pieces. Well, also lockets, to put loved ones' hair in, or a picture. Of course, they didn't have pictures back then. But anyway, so what she did is she had a lock of his hair, and what they did is they would braid it and braid the hair and weave it into designs and make jewelry out of it. There were all hair bracelets, and there'd be memorial pins that were surrounded with black onyx or black enamel, and then in the center there would be like a weaving pattern of hair, and then that would be surrounded by pearls, because pearls were known to be symbolic of tears. So I mean, it was just really crazy. I mean, she went into mourning and the whole world went with her. So then it kind of caught on in America, because right around that time too, the Civil War breaks out, and now we've got all our young men going off to war and dying and not coming back, and so loved ones wanted to wear something that was of their loved one. And so you can't cut off a finger or something like that, or an ear, so they would cut their hair and weave it into things and put it in a locket or make a bracelet out of it. And a matter of fact, it got to be so popular that fashion magazines would give directions on how to weave the hair and how they could weave it in different patterns, to actually make pictures of a wreath or flowers or things like that. So yeah,
I'm a fan, I have to say.
So where this is all going now, excuse me, I have to have a drink of water.
Please don't tell me this is coming back. Please don't tell me this is coming back. I heard jewelry. Oh.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, there are. There are
No.
two women that are bringing hair jewelry back, and they're saying, and they're weaving them into some of the really coolest designs. Here's a picture of what it would have been like in the Victorian period. Can you see that?
Yep.
So,
Sure can.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, you've done the impossible, Patti.
Yeah.
You brought Russ Meyer and me to an agreement.
What's
Just put no. He put no. I'm like the whole time I'm going. I don't know, something about it. It doesn't make you squeamish at all, or
well, it fell out of popularity after a while, because then people realized that you could actually get sick from somebody else's hair, and that hair was dirty.
I'm getting sick from it.
And hair was dirty. It was not always clean.
Ugh.
So that's why it fell out of popularity. But here, get a load of this. So it's a trend. It's a TikTok trend, actually, is what they're saying. And mostly it's the millennials who are mostly millennial women.
How'd you say that again?
Millennial women.
Okay.
Mostly millennial women. Specifically the ones raised on Nightmare Before Christmas and Paramore.
Oh, well. Nightmare Before Christmas is a classic. I don't know. I don't know Paramore. I'm not familiar.
I didn't know Paramore. I knew that other one too. But anyway, so it's coming back with these millennial women. So, and
do you now, is that something you see? Do you ever see stuff like that? Do you have stuff in your shop, sister?
You know what? I hate to tell you this, but I actually have a lot of antique hair jewelry.
Oh.
And I too think it's really gross. It's like
I tell you what, make it a package deal. You buy this here onyx ring, you get a hair piece. Throw it in there for you.
Throw it in. It's yours. Take it
off. Please.
What's that thing crawling around? Oh, it's a little piece of lice. Don't worry. But it's moving. That's okay. Don't worry about it.
Never mind. It's got energy.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So, and here's another picture. I don't know if you can see this, but look at the
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's coming back supposedly. Hopefully, it won't uh, be long for the world.
Yeah. Mm.
But summer trends:
Yes.
big hoop earrings, big statement bold earrings, drop earrings, big.
Aren't those heavy? Are they heavy? I mean, literally heavy.
Well, some of them can be. Yes.
I mean, that's not what you want in the summer, though, is it? You want stuff light, so it's not.
Well, some of the really heavy ones, maybe will be pearls or something like that. So the color will be light, just that the piece itself is heavy. But a lot of times they do make them hollow, so they're not quite as heavy. Statement earrings are real big. Ear cuffs are big. You know what ear cuffs are? They just they attach like right here on your ear.
Okay.
They just
okay. Yeah, I do. No,
Yeah. So those are back again. That's the thing with jewelry. Everything comes back. Well, I guess with clothing too.
Yeah, I got.
Oh, this is cool. Multi-finger rings, which are really awesome. I don't know if you've ever seen
Brass knuckles.
Well, sort of like, yeah. Here, I'll show you a picture. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So you're right. It's kind of like brass knuckles.
Yeah. And big with the Olympics. Right, the Olympics too.
Yeah. Oh, what does AJ think about Caitlin Clark not making the Olympic teams? Is that good or bad?
He wasn't happy about it. That was his first reaction. But it'd be interesting to see after he's had a couple of days. I've heard it makes perfect sense as to how there are so many deserving players who are there, and she's not to that level yet. I mean, she is an attraction, but they've won like 8 gold medals in a row or 12, whatever it is, the women's basketball team. Whereas the U.S. men's basketball teams had their problems. The women have not. So they've just been dominant. So they know what they're doing. Yeah. So she'll have other chances to make it too. She's a youngin. But
I digress. I was curious.
Yeah, that's right. I want to digress because you brought something up. You said something there, and it was what I was bringing up a couple of times in this conversation. And from fashion, now men's fashion, I saw a thing saying that big baggy pants are in for men and
women.
Okay, well, this was men's fashion thing, but I'm sure they are. But then the question was, it was like the headline was baggy pants are in, like it or not, they're here. Will skinny jeans ever be back again? And the answer is, even though I'm not a fashion person, of course, because like what you just said, everything comes around, and comes back. I wonder why. What makes something catch on? Somebody just looks at something is a little different. Someone has to stand out and be different the first time, right? And then everybody's like, at first, like any new idea, everybody's like, oh, but then something you see it a couple of times, you go, huh? Well, maybe at least they're not so tight like skinny jeans or something, right?
Yeah. Celebrities have a lot to do with it. That's why they have celebrities that endorse, or these fashion houses will give some of these celebrities clothing that they want to wear because they want to start a trend or a style, and so that's kind of how it starts too. Funny story about the baggy legs, because they were popular back in the 1970s when I was in high school as a mere child, as a baby. Mm-hmm. I was really young in high school.
You're still a mere child, and you're still really young.
So anyway, at that time they were called elephant pants.
Yes, I've heard that term. Yeah.
And so of course I had elephant pants.
Did you?
Oh God, yes. Are you kidding? Everybody had to. You had to have at least 1 or 2 pair.
Okay.
So I had a
really me.
I had a really cool pair. I had several pair, but my favorite pair was a black and white plaid. They were really, really cool, and I really looked good in them too. Anyway, so
I believe you.
Yeah, and and of course
I had those.
my platform shoes, because I never went anywhere without my platform shoes.
Of course not.
Of course not. So anyway, I was with these guys in Mequon at the old Pizza Hut. You know where the old Pizza Hut was, in that little strip center there. In Thiensville.
In Thiensville.
Sorry, Thiensville. Yeah, it
Oh.
used to be a Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was there with these guys, and they had pizza and drinking beer. There was a whole bunch of us, and I looked down at my clock, my watch, and I said, "Oh my God, I got to get home. Will you take me home?" And two of the guys said, "Yeah, we'll take you home." So as we're walking out, one of the guys yelled to the guy that was driving, "I bet you can't get her home and back before we finish this pitcher of beer." He says, "You're on."
Buckle up, Buttercup.
So we jump in the car. I'm in the back seat. The two guys are in the front seat. And we go racing to Cedarburg. Now, you know where I used to live, my stone house there. And then there up that road, Highland, between the old People Center for Ozaukee Bank and the bank itself.
Yep.
Okay. So he says to me, "Okay, here's what I'm going to do. We'll go down Columbia. And when we get to that intersection, I'm going to make a right. And I'm just going to slow down. I'm not going to stop. Slow down. You push the seat forward and jump out. And as soon as you're out, Dale will close the door and I'm taking off." I said, "Okay, that's fine."
This sounds like a good plan. What could go wrong? Oh.
So that's what we did. Sad thing is that I was wearing my elephant pants.
Oh, God.
And the seat came back on my pants and the door closed on my pants. He took off. I went down. He dragged me for about, 5, 6, 7 feet. When the guy in the passenger said, "Stop, she's still in the car. She's still in the car."
Oh, no. Oh, God.
So
what could go wrong with that? How could you ruin a perfect plan like that?
I know, right? He stops the car, and when he does, he stops it with the tire right on my leg.
Oh.
And I'm like, "Get the car off my leg."
Oh, come on. Did you break your leg?
Seriously, Scott, I'm surprised I didn't, but I did.
Oh, it's a miracle.
I'm like, "Get the car off my leg." So Jim runs back to the car, jumps in the driver's seat, and instead of putting it in neutral and just bumping it off, no, we put it in reverse and drove it off.
Oh, God. Oh.
You know what they say about traction? It really is such a thing. Because I felt it on my leg.
Oh. You're lucky you weren't killed.
I know, right?
So were your pants ruined? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Oh, the black and white plaid elephant pants were ruined.
Yeah. And so they had to carry me to the house, carry me upstairs to my bedroom. They laid me in bed and then they took off. And I'm laying in bed and I'm going, "Oh my God, this is killing me. This is killing me. This is killing me." My mom was gone. So I hopped into my mom and dad's bedroom. My dad was asleep and he hears me hopping into the bedroom. He goes, "Patty?" And I'm like, "Yes." He goes, "What's wrong?" And I got run over by a car.
And he's like, "Yeah, sure. Tell me another one, kid."
I've never seen somebody jump out of bed so fast in their entire life.
Well, that's good.
I did not break my leg, but I kind of ground my ankle bone down a little bit.
That sounds awful.
It wasn't pleasant.
Ugh.
So and now that these pants are back in style, this is a good moral to the story, boys and girls. Don't do what I did.
Don't jump out of a moving car with elephant pants on. They're not calling them elephant pants, are they? Are they anymore? No.
Not anymore.
I remember as soon as you said that, I went, "Oh, I remember that."
Yeah, they were elephant pants. They were cool. Yeah, and then I had these shoes that looked like bowling balls. They were blue patent leather.
Ooh.
And they looked like bowling balls that were cut out that I wore as shoes. And I went to a concert with where Chubby Checkers was singing and performing.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the concert, he went to the front and was like saying hello to people. And when I got to the front, he looked down at my shoes and he goes, "Cool shoes." I'm like,
"There you go.
Thank you."
Chubby Checkers saw my shoes. Very cool.
Yeah.
Wow. You're like Forrest Gump.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's smart too.
Yeah. What was I going to say?
Only
Oh,
thing
so
I don't run.
so they're not. Do you have the baggy pants now? Do you have a new round of baggy pants? Are you going to get any? You're going to succumb to the wave?
Well, okay. Yeah, I would love to get a pair of baggy pants, but here's my dilemma. Okay, in order to wear baggy pants, you have to have just the right shoes. So I haven't found the pair of shoes that I really like yet. So when I find the pair of shoes that I really like, then I'll get the pants to go with it.
Okay. Well, the trend might be over by the time you find the perfect pair of shoes. You gotta look for just go to a bowling alley, look for some bowling ball shoes
there you
like
go.
you had.
I look for those shoes all the time, believe me.
I believe you.
They were the coolest shoes, and they were all padded inside. They were real comfortable.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Remember that? I'm surprised you couldn't find any. Remember when Ricky, you went to that auction? We had you on from.
Oh yeah, Ricky. He's in Nashville now, I think.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah. I'm surprised you couldn't find the shoes there.
I know. I should tell him to look for them.
He'd find them. If anybody could find them, Ricky would be able to find them for you.
Yeah, he was funny. I'm
Yeah.
sure he could.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So Patti, I got a couple more things here.
Yeah.
Are you a Summer Sounds person?
Do you know, I have never been to Summer Sounds.
Oh.
It is my plan this year to attend, because I hear so many good things about it. The only thing is I will have to douse myself in DEET before I go, because as soon as I walk outside, all the mosquitoes go, she's here, she's here.
I haven't seen mosquitoes yet this year. Have you?
Yes.
Okay.
They found me.
Well, I'm a big target as well. I heard one, but I haven't gotten stung yet. But this Summer Sounds, Sue Schrader, another friend from Rotary, is one of the driving forces behind that. And they have Friday is their first one. They're going to have the Grammy Award-winning Rebirth Brass Band. Really cool. I looked them up, saw some of their videos online. Very cool stuff. And another headline: Laffey, Lightner and Good is the grand sponsor of Summer Sounds. Now, Laffey, Lightner and Good is a law firm in Milwaukee, but Jack Laffey lives out here, and he's lived out here for 25 years. And the reason I'm bringing up, they're one of our clients, so they get a little free pub. They're one of the. There's like one level of sponsorship above them, which I believe that's Annex Wealth Management is that one, but. Sue was great. She said, Summer Sounds is thrilled to welcome Laffey, Lightner and Good to our team of sponsors. We love to partner with organizations that have local ties because they understand how important Summer Sounds is to the community. Brand sponsors are a small and select group of the most recognizable and civic-minded organizations in the area. And these guys really are. We've only been working with them for a couple of months, but they just had they're big sponsors of Central Legala, and Central Legala benefits Central Legal, which is a law firm that helps underprivileged people who can't afford. They have heck of a time with the language, and then they also can't afford a good lawyer, and so there's this team of lawyers that really helps them, and really helps a lot of people. It's great stuff. They're also involved in the Fresh Coast Jazz Festival, which is in Milwaukee at the end of August, which benefits a lot of schools. They're really good guys, and they're really involved in a lot of really strong ties to connection to a lot of charities. So it's good to have them on the sponsorship of Summer Sounds too.
I had coffee with Sue this afternoon. I just love her.
She's cool. Yeah.
She's very cool. And she's got so many cool stories and things to tell you. I mean, I adore her. She's very cool.
Yeah, she's a Cedarburg keeper for sure. She's by day she's the what's the title at the Cultural Center? Executive director, and then in her spare time, she's her connection to Summer Sounds is all volunteer.
Right.
So, and that's all. Nobody at Summer Sounds gets paid. It's all volunteer. But it's cool. It's cool because it starts at like the music starts at 6:30, but really the thing starts at 4 or 5. People start coming in and bringing their stuff. You can bring your own food, you can bring your own drinks, but there are a ton of food trucks. If you can buy your beverages from there, I think it supports summer sound, so that's important as well. But it's just and the kids are running around. They have hula hoops for kids out in front of up near the stage. Just a lot going on, and there are a lot of families. It's not just
Right.
Old rockers. I mean, they're everybody, young rockers, old rockers, and then like they have the brass band. They got some all different kinds of music this year. She does it. Isn't she involved in picking out the bands that come there? I think that's what her role is. Yeah, she does a hell of a job.
Yeah,
you got to get them on the right at that level where they're not so big that you can't afford to have them, but
on the verge of being there. Yeah,
yeah.
She's very good at that. I was surprised I didn't see you at the breakfast this morning, actually.
I didn't have breakfast.
Huh?
No,
Really?
the Cedarburg breakfast.
Cedarburg
the snapshot. Yeah, I missed that.
It was good.
Yeah, it is good. It's a good event. Here, interesting. Who are the speakers? Is the mayor?
It was Pat Tomey, the new mayor. It was the superintendent of Cedarburg High School and of Cedarburg schools, and the county supervisor,
town supervisor, right?
Town supervisor, yeah.
Yeah, so you get them from different people in the area.
Right.
Yeah, it's a nice event. Maggie does a hell of a job. We talked about her before she was on last week. Yeah,
she does. It's a great event.
Yeah.
Maggie does a great job all the way around. I don't care what you say.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah, she was on with us last week, the week before. Yeah,
that is a very thankless job, and she does a very good job at it. So.
Yes, she does. She's funny too, which helps.
Yes, she is.
And then this Thursday, shit, Cedarburg never sleeps. Fuck New York, we got it, man. Cedarburg Art Museum, they have their first beer garden thing. They have bands on Thursday nights in the summer, and that's a different kind of vibe. It's not like Summer Sounds in the park, and it's typically when the music's playing, you can talk if you're farther back, but like this is typically either solo or like 5 or 6 or 7 people, but it's music. You're there, you hear it, but you can talk to, it's like a different kind of setting.
Right.
It's a nice deal. I really like that Thursday night thing.
How does going to the beer garden and drinking beer fit in with your diet?
It doesn't.
How do you navigate that?
Well, I usually don't. For years and years and years.
Problem,
yeah, years and years and years. I beer was my drink of choice. But as I've gotten older, it's not as much because it just fills me up too much. And now it has the high calorie. I like a lot of the beers are really good. But they're like IPAs. They have a lot of bites, but they also have a lot of calories. The drink and wine has a lot of calories too, which I like as well. But we have switched. When I say we, Margo and I made it. We drink a lot of vodka and club soda, because that is when we did the Noom. Have you ever done Noom? NOOM. It's a really good program. It's an app, but really help the different levels. I guess they all have the different ways to do it, but vodka and club soda they had the classifications were red, yellow, and green. Green you could eat as much of, it's a leafy stuff and all kinds. Yellow it was all based on calorie density. So the higher calorie density, the worse it would go up on the scale. And vodka and club soda was in the middle, as opposed to most of the other alcohol variations were all at the top. So I just evolved, and then it's a refreshing drink that I like anyway. But like on Thursday nights, whereas Summer Sounds is you can bring your own, or it's, you can buy there. At the art museum, it's just it's a smaller thing. You're there to support the art museum. So they have Lakefront Brewery, and I can't remember what the wine is they have there. But there's no hard liquor. They don't have a license for it. So there's no vodka and club soda. So I say, all right, you know what? I got to make this deficit. Because Thursday nights in the summer, I'm going to have at least one beer at this place. So that's kind of how I fit it in. But I've changed my as well as my eating habits. I've changed my drinking habits quite a bit too, and I don't drink as often. I don't drink as much. So I'm kind of figuring that out.
Yeah, that's my biggest problem too, is to figure out how to navigate having alcohol and staying on a diet, and then too, if you're not eating as much, the alcohol affects you faster.
You bet,
So
especially after a hell of a day sometimes. And Patty, can you have carbonated beverages? I can't
I
recall.
haven't had a carbonated beverage in over 12 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good. It's good that you do that. I like bubbles. I like the.
Yeah, and not only that, I've been not to get into it, but it's just I'm having problems with my stomach too, so I'm just taking it very quiet.
Mhm. Yeah, well, there's more and more products out there, like the probiotic stuff that's helpful. I know.
I've been eating the probiotic prebiotic, those gummies that
Yep.
you get from how do you pronounce that? Oily?
Oh, I don't know, but Margot's got us started on. It's carbonated though. Prebiotic soda. I believe it's prebiotic. It's called. Yes, she said Poppy. Poppi.
Oh, okay.
They have different flavors. It's good, and it's there's 10 calories for a can, and it's a soft drink. It's not a
Yeah.
hard thing, but it's a prebiotic soda, and they have apple cider vinegar as one of the ingredients, and
Oh, okay.
yeah. But
I can't have carbonation.
I know I'm not trying to taunt you. I have to realize as I was saying, oh shit, you can't have that anyway. So sorry about that, Toots.
All right. I've made it this far, okay?
Well, yeah, you just gotta keep fiddling with the dials to see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, that's right. It'll
All
all
right,
work.
cool. All right, so that's a show. So
That's it.
we had Dr. Ben. We talked about Mr. Bob before he came on. They're looking for 2-person tents. If you know anybody with 2-person tents that can donate them, they're looking for that for shelter. We talked about Mel's being involved with. Oh, and also Mel's is going to be at every Cedarburg Art Museum. They always have a one food truck. It's a lot smaller event. But in lieu of a food truck this week, they're having Mel's. They're there with their pork sammies and the other stuff that they make. So they always have a charitable component too, which is great. So
Yeah.
Mel's will be there on Thursday, and Mel's is also going to be very involved with that Cedar Creek Classic bike race next week. A week from tonight. No show a week from tonight because the bike race is going to be on. Bulldog and I are going to be running around with a camera down there. So
Yeah, it's supposed to go to 11, right?
I thought Todd said like 9 or 9:30. The last race starts at 7.
Okay.
9:30ish, I thought he said.
Yeah.
So,
I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, Todd spoke at the Rotary last
Right.
time. Yeah.
And you had those 2 girls there.
Yeah, just the most recent one this last week.
Oh, I was
outside. Yeah. Yeah, you skipped. Nice. Mike was funny. Doing thing. You'll see it in the newsletter.
Okay. Did you write it?
Yes.
Oh, well, then it will be funny.
Oh, speaking of which, I also wanted to say that Bulldog's got a June author series going at the library.
Okay.
And I went and saw the first one last week. It was Louise, just an incredible. She wrote a history book, a nonfiction book about World War II and her father's role in it, which is really good and touching. This week they have Maggie Smith, an award-winning Milwaukee author, who presents her newest novel, Blind Spot, a gripping suspense novel about an ambitious prosecutor on the hunt for a sadistic stalker, only to find herself framed for the murder when he turns up dead. It'll be Thursdays in June. So this Thursday, that's what's going to be featured 6:30 at the library. So you can go to the art museum, have your one beverage, and then go over to the library and enjoy that. Then if you want to go back over to the art museum after, because it lasts about an hour. So next Thursday, June 20th, Carla Luna, I don't know if you know her. She's a
I've seen her on your show though.
Yeah, she's a gem. She's a spitfire. I like her a lot. She's an author who writes contemporary romance with humor and spice. She's going to be talking about her newest novel that she just published last week or last month. Tour Wars. It's really good. I'm reading it right now. And then on Thursday, June 27th, because that's when nobody will be in town, they'll all be on vacation until the 4th of July. Jack Henke, join the man behind the CPL Radio Online's Jack Henke Show as he presents his debut fiction novel, Guardian Devil. This funny, fast-paced dramedy about Clark Wells and his mischievous guardian devil on an emotional and humorous road trip. So
where are you doing this?
I'm doing it at the library on Thursday, June 27th
Wow.
at 6:30 to 7:30. So
excellent. And it's what are you just going to go through the book, or I mean, I'm sorry, I don't know what.
Well, Bulldog asked if you just kind of take people through what the process of how you did it and some of the stuff you came up against and any kind of funny story. Like Louise had all these artifacts from World War II. I don't have anything. I don't have any visual aids. And Carla was funny. She goes, "Don't you have any any messages from your editor saying this has got to change, this sucks, this is stupid?" I said, "Oh, I do have that stuff." So we'll be using that.
Well, that's very cool, Jack.
Yeah. Well, I want everybody who's not on vacation. It stinks to go to those things, and the only one there is Bulldog. So I'm wrangling an audience. That's what I'm trying to do right now. So
all right,
Thursday, June 27th. Okay, that's a lot. We got a lot going on. It's the summertime ramps up. There's a lot more stuff going on, and
yes,
it's a great time of year. So there.
Yeah.
Any last words?
Nope. Just good to see you.
You too.
Thank you.
Tomorrow, AJ 9 a.m. AJ talks about sports, and then he also has AJ's advice that emanates from sports, but it can be applied to life. So it's a good fun thing as well. All right, good deal. Well, thanks for joining in, Patti. Great to see you. We will not be back next Tuesday, but in 2 weeks we will.
Okay.
All right. See ya. Wow.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day. Great night. Take care of that